The Dead Pianist. The events of the following story are realistic and are considered one of the strangest paranormal stories ever. The boy in the story is now a famous businessman, so no one dared publish his surname. Ryan, 16 years old, who lived in Pennsylvania, was an antisocial person with his friends in school. They could be counted on the fingers of one hand. Outside of school, he had only one friend. His family urged him a lot to leave the computer and go out into the street to get to know people or play a sport. But Ryan did not care about any of these things, but his greatest interest was in thinking and reading, especially the books written by Ray Bradbury, the well-known horror writer. There was another interest for Ryan, who is a girl whose house is in the same neighborhood and close to his house, a tall blonde with brown eyes called Bethany. All the men of the town were in love with her, from the cleaner to the doctor. Ray sees the girl almost everywhere, the school and the neighborhood, but he was unable to talk to her. On Valentine's Day, Ryan decided to take a bold step, which is to send a Valentine's Day card signed with his full name. On the morning of February 14, 1995, while Ryan was walking on his way to school, he heard a voice from behind telling him, "Are you Ryan?" Ryan turned to find his girlfriend accompanied by a huge young man named Todd, who looked at Ryan with contempt. Ryan replied, "Yes." Then Bethany said to him, "Well, take your card, I have a boyfriend." Ryan felt his heart break, so Ryan took the card and threw it in a trash can near him in front of the girl, the cruel-hearted woman who was standing smiling mockingly at him. Ryan said at the time that he felt hatred towards them, but he had no intention of revenge, and that she was just a girl he would forget. After a while, Ryan's family moved to another house in the same city, and the house was very old, dating back to 1900. From the first moment he was in the house, Ryan felt that there was something supernatural in this house. With the passage of days, the family learned from the neighbors that the house was haunted by the ghost of a girl, but no one knew who the girl was, and the only person who knew the past of the house was an old woman named Eleanor. She was in the hospital after she fell in her house. One night, one of the sisters said that she smelled a sweet smell in her room, and her father told her that it was only her imagination. And nothing happened until a few days later, when Ryan was preparing a late dinner for her husband, who was late at work. During that, she heard the sound of a piano playing. She knew this music well, although she had not heard it for years, and it was Für Elise by Beethoven. The mother got scared and woke her children up. And I asked them if they could hear the music. And indeed they heard it and were a little frightened. But Ryan liked the challenge, so he took the flashlight and decided to investigate the source of the music. Listening, he realized it was coming from upstairs, and so he climbed the stairs, but he hesitated a little outside the attic door before taking a deep breath, gathering his strength, then pushing the door open. The light of the lamp spread in the place, revealing a pile of junk, in the middle of which was a large covered object. The music it stopped suddenly when Ryan opened the door too. The lamp broke down shortly after he entered, but he was able to see what was in the place. Ryan continued his exploratory tour despite hearing the voice of his mother and sisters asking him to return. Ryan removed the lid from the big thing to find under it a very old piano. Many of its keys are broken. If this piano is not the source of the music I heard just now. The sudden feeling of terror swept Ryan and made him leave the room quickly. Suddenly, the door of the house opened. Everyone screamed in terror, but it was Ryan's father who came back from work and asked them why he had gathered at such a late hour. Ryan's mother told her husband about the sound of music, but he did not believe it and said that the rats she is the one who messed with the old piano. Ryan spent his night terrified and afraid, feeling the presence of a companion in his room. Then this feeling was confirmed after the smell of lavender spread in his room. Then a soft voice whispered, saying, "Ryan." Ryan did not even think about who the owner of the voice might be. If it's his sister, it's a scary joke. From under the hood Ryan yelled, "Go away, go away." The voice came back and whispered, "Please Ryan, don't be afraid of me, I'm Alice." "Mom," cried Ryan. He closed his eyes tightly and threw himself off the bed while clicking on the switch of the lamp. When the light dimmed and he found the room empty. But the smell still lingers. Moments later a voice outside shouted, "Ryan?" It was his sister. Ryan opened the door and told her in a strange voice to call herself Alice, and the smell filled the place. His sister asked, "Are you okay?" His sister was sympathetic to him. She said she was sure there was something supernatural in the house. "Go back to sleep." Now, Ryan closed the door to his room and slept in the light of the lamps outside. His sister suddenly screamed, but then he knew that she was terrified when she found her older sister standing behind her. She came to ask her about Ryan's screams. He wakes up for a reason he does not know, and it was around 4 o'clock in the morning. He suddenly remembered Alice's whisper before he felt her presence again. This time, Ryan's hair touched him with a thin hand touching his hanging hand from above the bed quickly. He pulled his hand to his chest and said, "Who's there?" The dim sunlight at sunrise felt reassured, so he fell asleep again, then saw the strangest dream, in which he met a beautiful girl named Alice. Her clothes were old-fashioned, and she loved him in the dream. The girl took him to her house, which was located in the same place where their house is now. Together, she played the piano for him, as she showed him a picture of her, and told him that she was near the piano. "Go up and you will find it there," Ryan told her, when he woke up. "But I'm not sleeping." The girl kissed him saying, "You are too." Then Ryan woke up with his heart beating so hard that it seemed to him that he wasn't dreaming. Later that day, around noon, Ryan remembered what the girl said in the dream about the picture. He hurried to the attic, and because of the sunlight there, he feels fear, like the previous time he was in this room. He searched for the picture inside the piano as it was in the dream. With difficulty, he managed to extract something he found among the wires of the piano. This thing was an old picture inside a frame. Ryan's heart jumped when he recognized the girl in the picture immediately. He told his family about the girl in the dream, and his father told him that it was just a coincidence. Finally, the old neighbor, Eleanor, got out of the hospital, so Ryan's mother went to meet her and took with her a bouquet of roses and a box of chocolates. Likewise, the picture that was found inside the piano, as soon as Eleanor's eyes fell on the picture, she immediately recognized it and said it was Alice. On the piano, when the house was demolished and rebuilt, Alice's family sold the piano. Years later, a man named Raymond Jones bought it. By chance, he also bought the house and lived in it in 1900. The piano returned to its old home. Ryan's mother asked Mrs. Eleanor if she knew about the ghost. Then the old woman said, "Yes, and I swear to God, I saw Alice looking out the window one night." "I hope this doesn't scare you," Ryan's mother said. "Don't worry." With time, Ryan changed a lot. He spent most of his time in the attic, and his family used to hear the sound of playing on the piano while their son was there, and he was not good at playing. Ryan was not talking about anything except Alice, how beautiful and educated she is, and at one time he said that he wanted to die in order to join her and marry her here. The family began to worry about her son, so they asked for help from a priest, who decided cleansing the house to expel the ghosts. Ryan got angry when he learned about it and told them, "Take care of yourselves. Isn't it an evil ghost? It's my love." With Ryan's objection, the priest left, but it didn't end, as I thought. One day, Ryan came home from school to see sad looks on his sister's face and his mother. If Ryan hurries to the attic and goes down a few minutes later, shouting, "She's gone." His mother embraced him, but he pushed her away. "What did you do?" His sister said, "The church sent mediators who exorcised souls." Ryan looked at his mother with disgust, tears streaming down his cheeks. "You did this, Mom." His mother shook her head, denying, "No, it was your father's idea." Ryan said while crying, "I loved her, I will kill myself to catch up with her." Ryan ran to the attic, and his sister followed him to protect him from any insane behavior that he might do. After days of grief, he accepted. Ryan experienced his loss and continued his life, got married and had children, and one of his daughters he named Alice. The strange thing is that his daughter asked to learn the piano on her own without knowing the story.